had been destroyed by something other than the aircraft impact and subsequent fires. Okay, so there's also a record produced by the United States Geological Survey and NASA. They did airborne imaging, thermal imaging of the site, showing extremely high temperatures that are just completely inexplicable on the basis of hydrocarbon fires. These were in the rubble. The heat was in the rubble. You can just Google USGS NASA thermal imaging WTC and you'll find those images. But I took and analyzed the brightly glowing molten metal, and I went pixel by pixel analyzing the color of the pixels. A lot of it saturated, but the one thing that I determined was the brightly glowing molten metal was brighter than any of the flames surrounding it. It therefore could not have been produced by those flames. This is a law of physics. It's called the law of blackbody radiation. You have another law of physics called the second law of thermodynamics, which basically says heat can't flow uphill. The blackbody radiation law tells you that the temperature of the flames was not as high as the temperature of the molten material, and the second law says that flames of that heat can't make molten material of that higher temperature. So, excuse me, flames of that temperature if you want to get pedantic. So I was left with a slam dunk. There was something else going on in the building to produce that brightly glowing molten metal. NIST attempted to dismiss this as, now get this, molten aluminum from the airplanes. That is utterly ridiculous. Molten aluminum, first of all, the temperature is given by blackbody radiation. Any deviation from the blackbody radiation profile, a perfect blackbody radiator, will be to the negative. It will be less bright. Also, molten aluminum that does glow, molten aluminum can glow if you get it hot enough. It glows a rosy pink due to the variant emissivity for different frequencies of light. This stuff didn't glow bright pink. It looked like molten iron, and I am convinced that that's what it was, and there's plenty of reason to believe that. Okay, but that was a slam dunk. That was the one that I could no longer argue against the idea that there was something going on other than the aircraft impact and subsequent fires. The amount of evidence refuting the official conspiracy theory of 9/11, 19 hijackers, you know the deal. Hijacked 4 commercial aircraft, took them off course, and flew around the country for as much as an hour without any intercepts or interventions. Yeah, that official story is dead. It has no legs. But that's not what I want to talk about. The one thing that is important to talk about is the destruction of evidence, because the destruction of evidence is evidence. If you have a crime, the greatest mass murder in human history, combined with the greatest building catastrophe, engineering catastrophe in, I'll say greatest mass murder, let's say the greatest mass murder in U.S. history, and the greatest engineering catastrophe, arguably, in human history. Okay? Not once, not twice, but 3 times we have this completely anomalous self-destruction of a building due to fires, because the structural damage, according to NIST and according to other things that were obvious, like the oscillation, the resonant frequency of the buildings determined after the impact by using some Morier imaging, determined that the buildings were still structurally sound after the impact. So it had to have been fire. They compromised the structure if it wasn't something else. The fires couldn't have done it. It was something else. Okay. What I want to address is the importance of this. Okay? There's an unbelievable apathy in the United States regarding 9/11. People have accepted this, or even people who know that it isn't what we were told it was, have accepted it. Have accepted the status quo. Oh, somebody else will fix it for me. Somebody else will take care of it for me. This is unacceptable. This is not America. This is not the country that I inherited from my ancestors, 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 ancestors. Okay? In America, you stand up. You are responsible. It's your country. This is an owner-operated government. And if you aren't going to step up and do your part, get out. Okay, sorry, I got to put it to you that way, please. Just leave if you don't want to do your part in being a citizen. Because that's what being an American is about. And number one, I can't imagine anything more fundamental than the truth. This country is built. The bedrock foundation of the United States of America is, we hold these truths to be self-evident. That's a very deep statement right there. And you'll find it in John Adams' diary, by the way, about 20 years before he added it to the Declaration of Independence. And this has changed our lives. 9/11, we have the surveillance society, the national security state gone wild, billions of black budget money going into projects and programs. We have no idea what they're doing with our money, or where the money's going, or why they're spending it, or who's getting it, or who's spying on whom. We've been kowtowed and herded into submission to let these people fondle us at airports and violate our Fourth Amendment rights and surveil us and torture human beings. These are things that the United States, that a decent human being anywhere would reject as valid conduct of their government. But we are accepting it because what? We are told we got attacked by terrorists, okay? We've got these insane wars of aggression. We've gone and attacked the least able to defend themselves, the people least able to defend themselves in the world. The poor people. We have bombed them, degraded them, robbed them of their freedoms, robbed them of their liberties. We have, you can say, oh, well, we liberated them from Saddam Hussein. Listen to some of the soldiers who used the, what do they call them, Hajis? That's their derisive name for the Iraqis. Used them for target practice. I mean, our soldiers are coming back with their PTSD and their nightmares and their horrors of what they have done and what they've experienced and what was done to them. Okay? We're going to be paying for this for the rest of my life. For the rest of their lives. As long as these soldiers are alive, they're going to be paying the debt. And the people who suffered these horrible wars of aggression, the victims, the people who were attacked, killed, maimed, they're going to be suffering from this. And this is done in your name. If you're an American citizen, this is done in your name. And if you're not trying to stop it, you are part of the problem. You are complicit. You are guilty if you just accept this as it is. Now, another thing I want to talk about is the lack of buy-in, especially from the intellectual community. You know, intellectual cowardice seems to be the one common attribute of 99.9% of today's intellectuals. People just will not stand up to this absurd tyranny, and they won't speak out because they're afraid of their reputation. What will others think? Or, oh, I might lose my job. Or, and oh, look what happened to him. He spoke out, and look what happened to him. So I'm not going to speak out. Oh, no, no, no. I'm not going to jump in and support that guy that's being taken on. I know it's unjust, but oh, not me. That's somebody else's job to stand up for freedom and liberty. Nope. If you're an American citizen, that's your job.